So this October surprise published in the New York Post last week about Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is, I'm calling it on the verge of, although some people say it already has, spectacularly backfired on the Trump campaign. The entire story published last week was supposed to make Joe Biden look really, really bad. It was supposed to prove that Joe Biden is corrupt and a bad person, and that so is his son, Hunter Biden, corrupt, terrible, bad person, and a drug addict. Not only has the story failed to hurt Joe Biden so far, some of what is coming out as being Joe Biden's alleged text messages to his son are actually just making him look like a good, kind, loving dad, an empathetic person, and Republicans have no idea what to do. Now, before we even get into the specifics, I want to let you know that we've since found out that the writer of this story, the primary writer of the New York Post story, Bruce Golding, didn't even want his byline on the article because he knew it lacked credibility. Many New York Post staffers, we've since found out, thanks to a great piece in the New York Times, New York Post staffers were saying, we shouldn't even be publishing this story. We don't even trust the reliability of the sources. We question the timing, and we now know Rudy Giuliani was a big factor in pushing for the story's publication. So, number one, even internally, many at the New York Post knew the story shouldn't be published, but it was published. Okay. First of all, the underlying premise of all of this is that Joe Biden did things as vice president because Hunter Biden was on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, including getting a prosecutor fired. That main story about Joe Biden getting a prosecutor fired as a gift to Hunter Biden has long been debunked, even if you accept everything else in the New York Post story is true. It does nothing to change that the Biden prosecutor firing story is a lie. Joe Biden was involved in the Ukrainian situation with the prosecutor at Barack Obama's direction. A coalition of countries was involved in that. The idea that Biden went and did it for Hunter Biden because of his consulting contract, widely debunked already. Okay. Then some texts are published as part of this story. Texts purported to be between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. What we learned from those texts is that Joe Biden is a caring dad and talks to his son in a way that I've never even heard of Donald Trump speaking to his children. He seems to love and support his son, Hunter Biden. It's clear Joe Biden loves his kids, generally speaking. It's not super clear that Trump does, at least not in the way that resembles healthy parenting. That helps Joe Biden. It makes Joe Biden look better. And in the text, you also see, again, if the texts are real, Joe Biden say, give me a call because I am sure that my text messages are a target. And indeed, Joe Biden was right about that. Now, thirdly, NBC News is reporting that federal investigators are looking at whether the emails allegedly describing activities by Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, supposedly found on a laptop, supposedly at a Delaware repair shop, those emails are potentially linked to a foreign intelligence operation. It's like it's happening again. Burisma apparently was hacked by the same Russian intelligence unit that was involved in the hacking of the Democratic National Committee in 2016. It's happening again. That is now being investigated. The Washington Post also reported overnight that U.S. intelligence agencies warned the White House last year that Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was the target of an influence operation by Russian intelligence. Rudy Giuliani has since admitted that it's possible, I believe he said it's a 50-50 shot, it's possible that he was working with a Russian spy on this story. Don't need to make any conspiracy. Just look at what Rudy himself said. So far, it does not seem that this October surprise has hurt Joe Biden at all. It may end up damaging Republicans. It may end up damaging Donald Trump's campaign more than anything else. For a second, consider how absurd this all is. The Trump campaign is trying to smear Joe Biden by releasing the loving emails and texts that he sent to his son. Guys, rumor has it Joe Biden cried when his first wife and kid died. What a loser. That's the level of stuff that they are resorting to and trying to pull off here. And really, I know that when Trump does his rallies and talks about Hunter, the crowd boos and cheers and jeers and whatever. it doesn't seem to be, people don't seem to be falling for it. And what underlies this all to some degree, think about it, is that Republicans consider empathy and kindness and sensitivity to be weaknesses. Trump certainly sees it that way, for sure. This is why it doesn't make sense to argue with them. They can't behave like normal humans. It could be a result of anger, fear, authoritarianism, depending on which group you were talking about, but you can't reason with them. And as I read through the alleged texts between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, I like Biden more. The only really groundbreaking thing here that came from this supposed October surprise is that Rudy Giuliani is now being investigated for potentially working with Russian spies. Maybe doesn't come as a huge shock to us, but so far I know that there are some saying there's much more coming and it's going to be much worse. Well, we've got 15 days to go. Okay, so they'd better get it out soon. What is out so far does not strike me as even remotely damaging to Joe Biden. Within a few days, we will have post New York Post story polling, and we'll be able to see for ourselves. We'll have more on this on our Instagram at David Pakman Show. And if you want to see me voting this weekend, powerfully voting, follow me on Instagram at david.pakman.